All right, I'm live. Let's see if this is working. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Stacy. Wow, that's actually working a lot better than the other one. I just went live on the other live stream option and nobody was on there. And so I'm using this one now, and it looks like we're getting a bunch of people on. Hello, 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 everyone. I wanted to talk to everybody about Helena. Is Helena on there too? Helena's watching. Hey, everybody. I'm just testing the live stream stuff on here. But I did want to know, what topics are you interested in us talking about? So Helena and myself and Celine and Nicole and Diana are going to be covering some more topics. Long distance relationship. What about long distance relationship? That's a big topic. What do you want to hear about as far as that? Hey, Nikki, thanks. I'm glad that it's working for you. This is some of this stuff that we've done has worked for a lot of people. So, if you use it, it can work for you as well. I would like to know if you cover everything is going great in a new relationship. How do you keep it that way? It's a topic that I don't get asked about very often. How do you keep things good? It's usually people running into bad situations that want to fix it. So I applaud you on that one, Stacy. I applaud you. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. How to know if the other person really loves you. We can talk about that. No problem. Where to find singles. Let's see. I don't think this is coming up on our regular live stream page. Let's see if our regular live stream dashboard is working real quick. Yep, just as I thought. So YouTube has like 3 different places where you can put live streams. And if you create a live stream in one of them, it doesn't show up in any of the other ones. And it's kind of frustrating. The comments are going in and out here. Sometimes I see them and sometimes I don't. Hello from Philippines. Hello. Drift off and mingle. So what we're talking about is, what topics do you want to learn about in the future? So where to find singles other than online apps? That's actually a good question. It's important, especially in this day and age, especially if you live in the United States, if you want to meet people from an organic place, not to go to figure out where to meet them. Where do people meet? Where do people meet in this day and age that's not online? It's a great question. Hello, Donna. I want to know if someone just got divorced and was married for 27 years, and I've been divorced for 20. How will that work out? For no reason. So we're talking about topics. Like, what topic do you want to hear about? So if you tell me about your situation, I'm going to have to figure out a topic in that situation. So what do we have? Boyfriend. So what if your boyfriend remains on a dating site after 10 months of already being together? It's a good question. It's a good topic. It's a good topic. We can talk about that one for sure. Is it still considered breadcrumbing if a guy makes a point to talk to you almost daily but doesn't move the relationship forward? Yeah, I'd say that's actually the definition of breadcrumbing. Is a guy talking to you every day and not moving anything forward, right? That's breadcrumbing. That's giving you something, but not enough, right? Not the entire thing. He's just giving you breadcrumbs. That is exactly what that is. Reasonable, eccentric. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Ebony. Boundaries were broken. Can you talk a little bit more about what boundary was broken or how it was broken? What does that mean? Boundaries are broken. My boyfriend will not stop messaging with all of his ex-lovers. Okay, you're in your 50s. What do you suggest on this social media issue? What does it mean when a guy says he has commitment issues? Hey, it's Maddie here. Said, hey, Maddie. Helena's actually not talking on this one. I think she might actually be watching though. I'm just asking everybody what kind of topics they want us to cover so we can talk about what topics in the we're going to do videos on in the future. So what topics do you want us to cover in the future? And while we're talking about that, I'm going through all of the YouTube live streaming options and finding out which ones are working and which ones are not, because there are a bunch that are not working, believe it or not. I'm sure YouTube will figure this out at some point, right? Right, guys? YouTube will figure it out at some point. Why does the chat keep crashing? I don't understand. Oh, so you met a guy who's gone MGTOW, huh? You want to know if you should date a MGTOW guy. So he's gone his own way. Yep. How to know if a man is being sincere. Okay. How to know if a guy's being sincere. How do you get him out of the breadcrumb stage? Hey, from Finland, Jenny Sojoblum. Those Finnish names. Lots of fun. How to know when it's right to give him another chance. It's a good one. All right, exclusively boundary. Oh, so exclusivity. Okay, so you're talking about when your boundary was broken when you're being exclusive. Text back. Didn't we do a video on getting a guy to want to text back? Maybe we didn't. Here, let me check real quick. My current live streams. So, if we did not, it looks like we might not have done a video on that yet. I think the one that we did might have been. Oh, so is he ignoring you? So for who was that? For Tiffany, was he ignoring you? Is that what you're asking? So he's not texting you back? Or are you just sending him messages and he's not texting you back? Is he ignoring your questions? Are you asking him questions? Are you just sending him messages? What exactly are you doing? So Ariel, you're in an abusive relationship, an abusive narcissistic relationship. What do you want to know about that? Are you trying to get out of it? Are you trying to not be abused? What exactly, why is that a topic that you want me to talk about? And what are you trying to get? Are you looking for signs that you're in a narcissistic abusive relationship? The earlier question you asked was for a friend. Okay. It's not for me. I'm not asking this question. It's a friend of mine, I swear. It's really important for her. So to forget a guy, how to forget a guy. Okay. It's actually a good one. How to get a male out of a midlife crisis. So there's a guy that you're seeing and he's in a midlife crisis and you want to get him out of the midlife crisis. Is that what you're asking? Get some clarification here. How old am I? I'm 30. I'm about to turn 37 this month. So a guy is promising to come see you, but it doesn't always follow through. So you just never know if he's going to follow through or if he's being honest or okay. Been in a long distance relationship for a little over 4 months and he has told me that he loves me, but how do I know for sure just from video chatting and texting every day? Great question. So you're in a long distance relationship and you want to know, we're probably going to end up doing a full kind of segment or series on long distance relationships because we seem to be getting a lot of people that are in these types of relationships. I just want to throw out there that there's a thing that happens and some women think that they're in long distance relationships, but they're really getting scammed. There's some online scammers out there that do it's probably not your situation because it's guys that usually they won't get on video and they say they're somewhere that they can't, like usually it's in the Middle East or it's in Europe or Eastern Europe or East Asia or something like that. And they can't seem to get back for some, they'll like create some kind of big relationship with you and then they can't get back or something. I keep getting emails about this, like, I don't know, at least a couple times a week. So here's the key. Do not in any situation here, if you haven't met a guy, if you aren't in an actual relationship where it's like you're together, don't send people money. Okay. This is a serious problem that you need to not do. Don't send people money. Where am I from? I live in Colorado. Amy says, hello. Hello, Amy. Helena's texting me right now. I didn't tell her I was going live. I should have told her. I think she's doing something though. He wants his own life and is super busy. Only seems to text me when he has nothing else going on. So Tiffany, were you the same one with the long distance thing? Oh, no. You want to get him to text back. You're the text back person. So he wants. Okay. So you want him to start texting you more often is what you're trying to say here. How to get him to text you more often. So calling instead of texting. Oh, are you, Katie, you're replying to Tiffany, I think. Talk about being in a relationship with someone who leans on being a porn addict. He's never been married and hasn't lived with anyone in a while, so he was used to doing his own thing. How old is he, Christina? How old is this guy that you're talking about? Are you in a relationship with him? Are you just dating him? What's the situation? How do I know if I'm being finessed? Are you, what does that mean? Does that mean you're being played? Is that what you're trying to say there? Zivone, is that how you pronounce your name? I don't. We have women from all over the world, if you don't know, who are a part of our I'm working on some of these names here. It's good though. So my LDR soldier says I will learn more patience like him. So your LDR soldier, have you met this guy? I just want to go back to that one. Have you met this guy? Just because every time I hear a woman tell me that they're in some kind of LDR with a soldier or a contractor or something like that, and then you find out that they haven't met, they don't actually know each other, they aren't video chatting, that can be a problem. Sending long messages in multiple messages. So what we're talking about, if you just joined us, is what topics do you want to learn about? I'm actually currently learning about the YouTube live stream system here, which could use some work. They could use some kind of mixing and creating like one place to do the live streams and create the live streams and whatnot. So sending long messages and multiple messages. He says that it stresses him out and then he doesn't read them. Ah, I see. I see. Signs if he truly loves me. I think we have a signs if he truly loves you video. Actually, signs love. Let's see. If you don't know, there's actually a search. There's actually a search thing on our channel. If you go to our YouTube channel, there's a search bar, and if you type in what you want to learn or a video that you want to know about, there are things. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos of signs that a guy, 7 videos, 7 videos that will show you the signs if a guy is in love with you or not. So there are plenty of videos already on our channel. If you don't know if he's in love with you, you should go and check out our channel. It's good. We've literally got hundreds of videos on here. How many videos do we have? I think it's like we have 671 videos on our channel. We make lots of videos over here. If you don't know, we get some of the best people out here to do videos, and they're great. Okay, so what did I miss here? So reasonable. You say not related, but if your mother absolutely hates everyone you bring home. So you live with your mom and you're bringing these guys home, and your mom is like showing us. She's like showing up into the living room when you got a guy there, and she's got like, just her underwear on and like curls in her hair and like some of that clay stuff that women put on their faces when they go to the spa. Is that is that what she does? What's she doing? What's she doing that drives men away? Is she just like telling them, saying bad, like horrible things to them? You know what you could do is you could kind of prepare guys before you ever bring them over to your place for this, and just make a big joke out of it and just be like, yeah, this is fun. I mean, it depends on how bad, like it depends on what your mom's doing. If your mom is like really doing really messed up stuff, then that might be a completely different issue. But if she's just, kind of like one of those crazy mom things showing up in the living room, you might be able to make a joke out of it or something. So it depends on the situation. Depends on what your mom's doing. But tells her she's not a good man, and she threatens to call. Ooh, it's messed up. Have you considered bringing someone to help out the viewers for over? Yes, actually, I have. I've been into a few conversations with different experts who specifically work with women over 50, some who specifically work with women over 40. Here's my question to you. If you're a woman who's over 40, you're over 50, you're over 60, and you want advice specifically for you, and you're like, hey, we need some advice about these situations. What are those situations? What exactly do you feel is different that you need advice about? What kind of situations do you run into that is that you feel needs special care and attention for you? It's kind of like if you're in the long distance relationship thing, what's going on in your long distance relationship? Do you need more information about how to connect with a guy to stay closer while you're, in, this kind of this distance from each other? Do you need, do you need exercises that help you kind of stay connected? Do you need games to play that make it fun and interesting for you to do things? Do you need to figure out, how often you need to meet with each other in order to keep things sane and rational? Do you need, what do you need? What's your problem? What's your frustration? What challenges are up for you that you need help with? So that's what we're talking about here. So used for money. What was your other question? It was, how do I know if I'm being, okay. If you're being used for money. Well, why do you, okay. So you're with somebody and you think that this person's using you for money. Okay. Is this somebody that you know? Are you in a real relationship? Have you met him? Have you not met him? What are you spending money on? What are you buying? What are you doing that you think that you're being used for your money? And the answer is probably yes. Okay, I met a guy. He has been there all this week. Would I miss him? Agree to marriage counseling. Okay, so there's giving advice. Anita, good qualities. How to nicely reject a man when there's no sexual chemistry without losing a friend. It's a tough one. Depends on, how the guy is. If the guy has, if you're in a situation and he's getting insecure or something like that, that's one thing. If he's not, that's another. So how to draw them in when you've been together for about a year. Okay. So what's happening that you've been together for a year? Do you feel like the chemistry between you two is kind of falling out? What exactly is going on that you need help with that you need to draw them in closer? Do you feel like things are getting boring? Is it getting stale? What exactly is happening in your situation that you feel like you need to draw them in closer? We actually have a couple of videos about drawing a man in closer. Let me see if I can find them here real quickly. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. I'm actually really good at searching. It's one of my superpowers, is my ability to search for things. Aha, see right here. I'm going to post this in the comments. Drawing a man in closer. And you can tell me more about your situation so that I know if you need something specific around drawing a man in closer. Okay. Yeah. Are the signs the same for a long distance relationship and face to face? I'm guessing you're asking about the love one, the signs. They can be, right? So it depends. Um, it depends on which signs you're getting. If you're talking about, is a man in love with you, because in this day and age, a lot of times we're so when we're not together, there can be a lot of signs that show that a man's in love with you that would almost be like being in a long distance relationship. But it kind of depends on the man, right? Because some men are good with long distance stuff. They're good with texting. They're good with calling. They're good with doing stuff when you're not close to each other. And some men aren't. And so if it's a man that isn't, you might have little subtle things that you need to look for, or you might need to be close to each other together. But we can talk about that, and let me pull up this signs. Let me pull up some of these videos here. I'll just put this here and you can go and look at some of these. And if those videos don't give you the information that you're looking for, then make sure to contact us again with your question about your situation and what situation you're in, and we can cover something like that more closely. Okay, so what do we got here? Yeah, so supernova, I think that's what she is talking about. So Tiff, okay, some more advice. What to do when meeting online people. I'm super all over it, and the guy treats me like an interview rather than a person of interest. Okay, so I'm guessing that you're talking. So Tiffany, are you talking about when you end up meeting up and you're kind of face to face and he starts treating you like an interview? Or are you talking about when you're talking online and he's asking you questions like interview questions, trying to figure out something about you? Which situation specifically are you talking about? Oh, I'm always doing readings. So how do I get outside of my readings to be involved in a relationship? That's a really interesting question. I used to do some kind of intuitive stuff back in the day where I would kind of try to read people a lot because I thought it was very, very valuable to my life and fun and interesting and kind of fascinating in a lot of different ways. And I think you're right. When you're kind of in that space of reading somebody, there's a few different things that I'd say are really important in terms of being in relationships. If you not only like in the you're kind of in the space where you're reading people a lot, but anything, right? There's this kind of masculine space that a lot of women get into because they work jobs where they really need to be masculine all the time, and then they come into the space of relationship and they kind of have a hard time of kind of transitioning into it. One of the most powerful things that I think we kind of talk about here on the channel in regards to that is having some kind of ritual or routine around it, so that you put yourself, like what kind of a space do you need to be in? What kind of a space, would it be most valuable for you and your relationship to be in when you are about to interact with a guy, right? And be in relationship with somebody. And I think that the answer to that usually is, getting into your body. It's getting into some kind of feminine space, right? And having some kind of ritual or routine around that will help you kind of relax into that space, I think can be a really, really powerful thing. What exactly is the problem that you're having? So you're with some guy, right? And you start reading him and reading what's going on with him. And then what are you doing? Are you like telling him about it? Searching for the clues or whatever. In my mind, that's kind of where that's what I see you coming from, not because that's what you're telling me, but that's what I would imagine that is happening in your situation. And so my suggestion would be to get into one of these find a ritual or find a routine that helps you kind of lean back, that helps you kind of just get into your body and stop focusing on him and start focusing on yourself, right? So just start focusing on your feelings, start focusing on feeling your body, feeling, your arms, your legs, that kind of a thing. It could be something where you get into kind of a playful or exciting or some kind of other space, some kind of other kind of framework that you're seeing yourself coming from. Like answering questions here. I'll see if we can do a video on that one. I think we actually did a couple of videos on it. I don't know if it was that specifically, but I think if you go and look at our feminine energy videos that we talk about, we do talk about a lot of kind of switching from being in a masculine space, which I don't know if I would call that being in a masculine space, but kind of switching from one kind of mental or mind space or emotional space into another. Desperate to find how to improve our relationship. So are you dating a woman, Wanda? Is that what you're asking about? Yeah. Yeah, there's this thing that a lot of guys, Stacy, there's this thing that a lot of guys do out there where they kind of discount a lot of what women say that they want or think that they want, or their kind of opinions on some of these things. And there's this very specific reason for that. A lot of times we don't know what we want, right? Like, you ever meet those women that are like, oh, I want the guy who has all these things on this checklist, and then they end up with a guy that's totally different, right? Well, that happens all the time because we tend to go for people that we're attracted to and that we feel good about, not necessarily people that from a logical standpoint, we'd say these are the things that we want. However, I think there are plenty of things, if you're smart, and you're part of our community and about the things that we talk about here, like raising your value and having boundaries and stuff like that. That stuff is really, really powerful in terms of knowing, of telling people what they want. And so a lot of guys don't really get that. There's a lot of things that women do and can do that are really smart. And so a lot of times they just discount what you're saying and what you think, because they don't really get how intelligent or smart or smart about dating that you can actually be. I don't know anything about that guy that you guys are talking about, though, the Corey Wayne or whatever. I don't know him. I don't know any of his advice, so I can't really. I'm not going to comment on that. Whoa, it looks like we got a ton of new. So Tiffany, thanks for the dollar. I think is that a I don't know if we've ever gotten one of those on this channel before. It's like a some kind of payment thing here. Okay. So how long have you been married, and what's the longest? We've been seeing each other for 1.5 months, and he says when he's ready, he'll tell his son. Dad insists that he's seeing someone, but he hasn't yet. Yeah. So 1.5 months. Right. So what is so Jody, what is your question exactly? Do you have a question? Oh, no, that's not you. So I don't see the rest of the question. So his ex-wife walked in on us at his house. I found out he loves her and he wants her back. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't look at me. Yeah. So Jamie, do you have a question around that? Flirty online chat. You want to know about flirty online chat? Let's see. There are. Yeah, we can do flirty online chatting stuff. That's actually a really great topic. We did do some texting. We have a bunch of texting things on here that you can check out that are related because it's kind of a similar concept, right? You're talking online or you're talking through kind of messages. Let me give you here's a whole bunch of videos that we have on texting. And we can do one specifically around online chatting. Are you chatting on Facebook? Are you chatting on what exactly where are you chatting? Men do all of the thinking, women do all the talking. That's a funny joke. And if you talk to a guy about the right things, he will talk all night long and all day long. And it's overall, I actually saw a study on this not too long ago about men and women talking, and it was the study found that women do talk a lot more, but the things that they talk about are vastly different, right? And what they found is that men tend to talk about business or work related stuff. And it's true. If you can get a guy talking about, or his passions, right? So if you can get a guy talking about, if you ask him about his passions, guys a lot of times will just talk forever. And I don't know, it depends on what you think about his passions and how serious you want to be with a guy in supporting him for his passions. If you want him to spend a lot of time talking about stuff. I'm either reading him or me. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you're an intuitive. So yeah, you definitely need to get out of that space and get into a new one. What is it like for a man dealing with clinical depression and or struggles with alcoholism? Well, what it's like is it turns into this thing where, you want to be careful with guys who struggle with depression or alcoholism. There's this thing that we call like the baby bird syndrome, right? Where a lot of women will try to go and just like nurse these guys to health, right? They find like this guy and he's got a broken wing and he's like, oh, I messed up. And this woman takes him and she's, trying to nurse him to health. And it can be a really, if a guy's not going to go to that space of health, right? If he's not trying to, because a lot of times we get addicted to things, right? So we get addicted to emotion, right? People get addicted to their struggles. I know people that never give up their struggles. They could, be successful in a lot of different ways, but decide not to because they really enjoy the struggle that they have. It gives them something. I know people that are addicted to having their dreams, right? These dreams that they have. And they're always talking about the dream, but they're never accomplishing it because they're addicted to having that dream. And then once they have, if they actually went and got it, it's like, where would they have that? And they'd have to make up a new dream. And a lot of people are just so kind of addicted to that it can be a problem. And so along the thing with, what is it like? It's clinical depression is horrible, right? And alcoholism is horrible. And what usually happens with those kinds of things is that somebody can't really focus on anything else other than this depression or the alcoholism or, whatever it is that's kind of consuming them. And the longer they're in that space, the more they kind of develop these neuro pathways that make it so that it's easy to get into that space. And so if it's not somebody that's really trying to get out of that space, it could be a challenge for you. Okay, so how do you eat booty? I'm just going to skip that one. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, so what we're asking right now is what topics do you want us to cover in videos, right? And if we already have some videos and I can think of them and you're asking for the topic, I'll just post the link in the in the comment section here. But what do you want us to talk about? What topics do you want us to cover in future videos, future live streams, things that we're going to be doing in the future? So Cameo, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I think they're called super chats. Is that what that's called? Super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution to our channel. We put out a lot of content and we spend a lot of time trying to have good people on here, getting some of the best people on here. And just for the people that are on here right now, I just want to let you guys know that, we really appreciate you. We really appreciate you coming and being a part of our channel and watching our videos and, contributing to our community. If you're not a part of our Facebook community yet, you should go to Facebook and look up the Goddess Community and join our Facebook community there. We there are a lot of smart women in there. We're constantly talking about things that are issues that they're having. It's kind of a support network. So we're looking to we're looking to expand that and help you and help everyone that's a part of it. So thank you if you're a part of that. Thank you for being a part of our YouTube channel. So what so what other topics do you want us to provide? One of the things, I was just at this week-long retreat last week, actually, and I was going through this course that they have there. And one of the things that we were talking about in there was kind of like what's like a something worth creating in our lives and our industries and what we're doing. And for me, one of the big challenges that we've had over the last, at the beginning of this year, we started with around 3,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. And I think we just broke 93,000 like yesterday or something like that, or today. And one of the big challenges that we've had is we get a lot of people on here attacking other people. And it's a lot of times it's women attacking men. Sometimes it's men attacking women, right? We had one video on our channel that went viral that it's called, it's such a, Helena and I were talking about it. It's such a tame video too. It's called, if a man has these 8 qualities, never let him go. And we ended up getting like a ton of these guys that were in kind of the MGTOW movement that came on there, and they're just like attacking women on there. And then we have some of these other videos where women are there just attacking men, and it's just like this battle back and forth between the men and women. And one of the things that I realized that I would like to help us help do with this channel is Allison Armstrong has this concept called partnership, right? And it's this idea which I've really found has been incredibly valuable in my life, in my relationships. The women that we've worked with have found that it is like one of the number one things that not only makes a guy want to stay with them, but makes a guy see them as a woman that he wants to be with forever. And it's this idea of being on the same team, right? You're on the same team, you're working together, you're fighting for the same team. And, you're going through this journey of life together. And it's not about fighting to get your needs met. It's not about, tricking the other person into liking you or wanting to be with you, or, pretending like you're somebody you're not. But it's really about connecting with a man and creating this bond with him where you both feel like you're it's almost like this soulmate connection type of thing, right? Where you feel like you're just on this journey, moving together into the world. And so one of the things that I'd like to do with not only this channel, but the rest of the business that we have is work on this thing of partnership, taking a stand for it. We're going to be taking a stand for partnership, for healing the divide between the sexes, for healing the war of the sexes, for bringing peace to the war of the sexes. And I think it's a vital and essential thing for us to kind of work on and create as a society. And I think it's important for us to all be on board with this here in our groups here, giving advice, talking to people, creating relationships, and if we're not coming from that space, we're probably going to be creating more damage. If you're coming from a space of lack, if you're coming from a space of desperation where you're trying to get back at men, you're trying to get, hurt somebody, you're trying to get revenge, right? I see that a lot. We get videos or we get comments on our channel all the time where we get women that are like trying to like hurt guys, or they'll like tell other women like, oh, you should, like punch him or hurt him or say these abusive things or ignore him and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is very short-term thinking, right? It works in the short term. It gives you a reaction right then, but it doesn't work long-term. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine about this the other day because there was a situation where somebody was trying to, so there's a family member of mine who has this phone, right? And one of his grandpa, was like taking, got rid of his phone, his service for like a few hours to like teach him a lesson. Right. And so the kid's like, oh my God, yeah, I'll do whatever you want me to, just turn my phone back on. Right. And it's a very short-term thing because you do it in the short term and it's like, yeah, I got this reaction. I'm making him do what I want him to do, but it creates resentment, right? And it's the same thing when you're in any kind of relationship. If you're doing something to get a reaction from him right now, right? And this is one of those things where guys talk a lot about like nagging, like women will be like trying to get a guy constantly to do something or try to make him show that he cares, right? And so she'll like push his buttons really hard or something, and then he'll like freak out and get angry. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm getting that emotional feedback back. He's showing me that, he's in this relationship and that he cares because of his kind of emotional investment in it. But what she doesn't realize is that she's actually hurting the relationship long term, because then the guy is like, wow, there's something weird going on there, right? I'm not sure if I can trust her all the way. She's like doing these things that kind of hurts me, and it's like this weird thing that happens there. And so, yeah, I'm like running off on tangents here. What is the movement I speak of? Are you talking about the MGTOW movement, the men going their own way movement? It's like this big group of men, and it started out as like a really started out as kind of like a good idea, right? Because it was like all these men, and they felt like they were being oppressed by feminism and women, and so they're like, okay, I'm going to go my own way and leave and go and work on myself and build a business and create a great life for myself, and and that's great, that's fine, that's awesome. But what it ended up turning into was it's turned into this huge internet community of trolls, right? And they get on our videos and they just post just the most disgusting things that you could ever imagine, just hating on women, hating on men, hating on anybody that doesn't agree with their ideology and their thought process. And they'll just attack them and call you names and just, say the worst things that they can possibly think of to say to get you to be angry and feel like they have control over you. And it's a really toxic community. It's a toxic environment. Those guys, somebody on here was asking about a man going his own way and giving up society. That's what the movement is, right? And if he's just doing that, you would probably, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, go ahead and leave him alone. You don't want to deal with a guy who's in that headspace, because what he will end up doing is either treating you really badly, or he'll end up using you as some kind of bridge or stepping stone to kind of heal himself and get somewhere else. It's possible that you might end up changing his mind and he might feel like, oh yeah, I've met this amazing woman that I want to be with and spend some time with. But it's also really possible that he might end up hurting you or abusing you or treating you badly. And so you don't want to, my suggestion is don't get into relationships with MGTOW guys. They're not, depending on whether they're actually MGTOW or whether they're in the community movement thing, right? Because there's like this community of MGTOW guys that are just, they aren't really men going their own way, because men going their own way aren't online talking about women and complaining about women and whining about how bad their lives are. They're men that are actually going out into the world and, leaving society behind and creating their own thing in the world. And so the movement that is MGTOW isn't actually MGTOW, right? MGTOW are guys that aren't a part of the movement, because if they were, because they aren't spending all their time dealing with that stuff. I don't know if that was even what you were talking about. So I'm just going to stop there. How to motivate men not to dress like a 9-year-old kid. Oh, that's so funny. Jeans and t-shirts over and over. Motivate. It was funny. I was actually talking to my friend who he's from Germany originally, and he's been living overseas for a long, long time. And he came over to America, and he was like, all you Americans dress like crap. You're all wearing like pajamas everywhere you go. That's all you guys wear when you guys go out, is pajamas. I guess they wear nice clothes in Europe or something. I don't know. Okay. See, we even have haters on the live stream. It's so funny. Just ban and block them. That's what I do. Just remove them completely from our channel, because we don't want you if you are some kind of hater. If you're a hater on our channel, we will block you. That's what I got. It's my singing. All right, guys. It sounds like everybody's just talking to each other at this point. That's cool. I like that. So, all right, guys. I will talk to you soon. We're going to take some of these ideas and create videos out of them. If you saw some of the searches I did on our channel, go and check those out if you want to check out some of those videos. And thank you, everybody, for being here, and we will speak with you again soon.